They told us this was an open and shut case. They told us the killer was obvious. They told us to trust the story that the victim died where he fell. But what if I told you the only thing that fell was the truth? Tonight, we dig into a case you've never heard, because someone made sure you wouldn't. And when you hear who slipped up, you'll see exactly who's been pulling the strings. These aren't just stories. They're real lives, torn apart by secrets. We dive deep into chilling disappearances, unsolved crimes, and the truths buried beneath the surface. Because in the world of true crime, nothing is ever as it seems. And the ending? It will stay with you. Subscribe, stay curious, and join us as we unravel every hidden clue. Friday night. Small town. One missing girl, Emma Barnes. Everyone said the same thing. She ran away. That's what the cops told Emma's mother. That's what the local news printed. But here's what they didn't tell you. Emma's shoes were found in the woods, and her phone pinged 5 miles in the opposite direction. Funny how nobody mentioned that, huh? Emma was last seen at a house party on Hawthorne Street. That house belonged to Chase Miller. Yeah, that Chase Miller, the deputy's nephew, star baseball player, golden boy, Teflon kid. 20 kids were there that night. 20 sworn statements, and if you read them, you'd think they all rehearsed the same script. Emma was drunk. Emma was loud. Emma left on foot. Except for one tiny problem, Emma's best friend Kayla didn't sign a statement at all. Want to know why? She wasn't asked to. Because she was in the basement when Emma left. Here's where it gets messy.
A month after Emma vanished,
Kayla told her cousin she saw Emma arguing with Chase in the garage. Said Chase grabbed her arm. Said Emma slapped him. Said Chase's older brother Landon stepped in, told him to shut it down. Of course, none of that made it into the official file. You won't find it in the sheriff's press release. But guess who messed up? Landon did. Last week, some local podcast host tracked him down at a bar, asked him if he was at the party. And Landon, with 2 shots of whiskey in him, said, "I just told Chase to chill. He's got a temper, you know, a temper. Something the sheriff's office never mentioned. Something nobody wants to talk about, except Kayla. 2 nights ago, Kayla finally came forward. She leaked a 45-second clip from that same party. In the background, you can hear Chase yelling. You can hear Emma crying. You can hear a door slam. Then, this is the kicker, someone says, "We'll take care of it." She's not gonna say shut. Kayla swears that's Landon's voice. Landon says it's not. The cops say the clip's too grainy. But here's the thing, when that clip hit Reddit, the internet did what the local cops wouldn't. They cleaned up the audio. They compared Landon's voice to his old baseball interviews. And the match? 92% identical. If you're thinking, okay, that's suspicious, it gets worse. Chase's truck was impounded the week Emma vanished, supposedly for routine service. Except the mechanic who signed the work order? He moved to Florida 3 years ago. Someone forged that paperwork. Why? Maybe because Emma's footprints led right up to Chase's garage. And stopped there. You think it's all about the brothers? Think again. Neighbors say they heard barking that night. Loud, frantic barking. The Millers have a pit bull named Tank. Big, mean, protective. Funny thing, Tank was rehomed 3 days after Emma vanished. New owner says the dog was agitated, aggressive, like it tasted blood. And yet, no mention of a dog in the original search warrant. No DNA test on Tank's collar. No luminol in the garage. You know who is talking? Brady Collins. He was on the grand jury when they decided not to indict. He says they never saw the basement clip, never heard Kayla's statement, never knew about the fake work order. Brady's got one line he keeps saying to reporters. They showed us half a puzzle and told us to call it justice. Now Brady wants the whole thing reopened. He says Emma's mother deserves the truth. And that truth? It might bury a few golden boys, and the sheriff with them. Remember Landon's bar slip-up? Turns out that was just the start. In a private chat leaked this morning, Landon texted a buddy, "If Chase talks, I'm done." 4 words that should terrify everyone covering this up. Because if Chase flips, who else goes down with him? The deputies? The sheriff? Or the entire Miller family? If you think this story ends here, think again. Emma Barnes didn't vanish without help. Someone made sure her story stayed buried, alongside the truth. But the truth has teeth. One last thing. Before she disappeared, Emma sent a single text to Kayla. "If anything happens, look in the freezer." The cops never opened that freezer, but we did. And what we found inside? Well, you'll see. They told us the freezer was empty. They told us Emma's text was just paranoia. They told us to move on. But when we really opened it, what we found didn't just prove Emma was right. It blew the case wide open. The Miller family's garage had 2 freezers. The big stand-up they kept stocked with deer meat, and a battered old chest. Freezer tucked in the corner. No one ever mentioned that second freezer. No search warrant listed it. No cop ever sealed it as evidence. Want to know why? Because by the time they searched the house, that freezer was gone. Or so they thought. 3 weeks ago, a local kid named Tyler, Emma's neighbor, sent us a voicemail. It's scratchy but clear enough. You hear Chase arguing with his uncle, Deputy Miller. Chase: I told you I dumped it at the farm. Deputy: did you bleach it first? Chase: yeah, Jesus, it's clean. Bleach? Dumped? They weren't talking about trash. They were talking about that freezer. The farm is an abandoned hunting cabin. 12 miles out of town, Miller family property. Nobody's lived in for years. Last weekend, 2 local volunteers, Brady the juror and Kayla's cousin, drove out there. They found the old freezer, still padlocked shut. Inside, not a body, not blood, but clothes. Buried under old grocery bags was a denim jacket. Emma's mother recognized it instantly. Embroidered sunflower on the pocket. Emma's favorite jacket, the one she wore the night she vanished. The sleeves were stiff, like they'd been soaked and dried a dozen times. One cuff torn clean off, but it gets worse. Stuffed in the pocket was a single torn fingernail. Emma's nail polish, bright yellow, chipped. So if Emma walked away drunk, barefoot, with no jacket, why was this stashed away, bleached, locked up, hidden? Kayla didn't waste time. She shipped the jacket to an independent lab, paid for by crowdfunders, folks like you and me, who don't buy the sheriff's bedtime stories. 2 days later, positive. Small traces of blood in the seam. Not enough for a clean DNA match, too. Much bleach, but enough to prove Emma bled while wearing it. So now we've got Emma's last text. Look in the freezer. Emma's jacket hidden and bleached. A torn nail like she fought someone. Want to see how guilty people act? Chase's Instagram went dark yesterday. Landon deleted half his posts, wiped old comments, old party pics. One picture in particular vanished. The group shot from that night. Emma, Kayla, Chase, Landon, 3 other kids. But the internet? It never forgets. We dug up the original. Want to guess who's standing by the garage door, arm around Emma's shoulders? Not Chase. A third boy, Griffin Lee. No one's mentioned him yet. Griffin's dad runs the feed store. Quiet kid, good grades. Never any trouble. But guess who was also at the farm? Last fall, cleaning out the cabin. For hunting season. And guess who posted a snap of the same chest freezer, captioned, "Making room for deer meat." That post? Deleted too. So now it's not just Chase and Landon. It's Griffin, 3 kids, 1 girl, a garage, a locked freezer, a missing story. Yesterday we got a burner email. No name, no IP trail. Just a line. Ask the feed store boy about the chain. The chain. No police file mentions a chain. But Emma's mother remembers. Something, her daughter's bike chain was broken that week. She asked Chase to help fix it. Chase and Griffin, 2 boys in the garage, tools in hand. Here's where the sheriff's office steps in again. Brady Collins, the juror, says they never saw the bike. Turns out Emma's pink bike was logged as returned to the family. It wasn't. Emma's mom never got it back. So where is it? Last we heard, it was seen leaning against the back fence at the Miller's place. A week later, gone. A local metal scrapper now claims he found a rusted bike frame near the same farm, dumped in a ravine behind the cabin. The chain was snapped. Wrapped around it, a clump of blonde hair, so degraded you'd miss it if you weren't looking. The cop said, "No foul play." But the people digging with us? They see foul play everywhere. Kayla says Emma never wanted to go to that party alone. She begged Kayla to stay by her side. Kayla says she never left Emma until the boys pulled her into the basement to play beer pong. Kayla swears she heard the garage door slam. Then the barking. Then silence. She asked where Emma went. Chase just said, "She's chilling." Don't worry. Kayla did worry. But by then it was too late. So where are we now? A hidden freezer, bleached clothes, a torn nail, a snapped chain, a missing bike. 3 boys, 1 truth. and a sheriff's department that says, "Nothing to see here." But we see it. You see it. And now, there's no putting the lid back on this freezer. One last thing, tonight Kayla's cousin got a message. No name, no number. Just 4 words. "You're digging too deep." Attached? A blurry photo of a hand wearing Emma's sunflower bracelet, taken last week. So if Emma's gone, who's wearing her bracelet? They told us Emma was gone forever. They told us her story ended in that garage. They told us we'd find closure in old footprints and bleach stains. But they didn't count on a bracelet. A sunflower, a wrist, a hand that shouldn't exist. Let's break down the photo. Blurry, grainy, classic scare tactic. But zoom in, adjust the contrast, and you see it clear as day. Emma's sunflower bracelet. Handmade, frayed knot, tiny bead missing. The same bracelet Emma's mom tied around her wrist for her. Birthday, 6 days before she vanished. And that hand? Small, pale, no rings. But right behind it, a table, a pack of cigarettes, and a can of paint. It took all of 5 minutes for Reddit to find the clue. One guy matched the paint brand. Husky white exterior. Not sold everywhere. Only at one local hardware store. And that store belongs to Griffin Lee's uncle. Remember Griffin? The third boy at the party? The feed store boy who never saw a thing. Now his uncle's shop pops up in a ghost photo of Emma's bracelet. Coincidence? Or a mistake by someone trying to send a warning? Yesterday morning, a delivery driver named Mateo went public on Facebook. He says he saw Griffin 2 nights ago, behind that hardware store. Griffin was loading boxes at 2 a.m. with Landon in the passenger seat. When Mateo pulled in, Griffin slammed the truck shut, but not before Mateo saw what was inside. Buckets, a rope, a plastic tarp. Mateo didn't think much of it until the bracelet photo leaked. So he went back to the hardware store, asked the clerk if there were security cameras. Turns out there were. But the footage for that night? Gone. Deleted by accident. The owner says the system auto-wiped. Funny how the system kept every other night that month. Meanwhile, Brady Collins, the juror, who blew this whole cover-up open, says he got a new text on his burner phone. No ID, no intro. Just 3 lines. They moved her. Same woods. Check the quarry. Same woods, the patch where Emma's shoes turned up months ago. But the quarry? That's new. 3 miles east of the hunting cabin sits an abandoned limestone quarry and fenced off. Flooded at the bottom. No cops ever searched it. Why? Too deep. Too dangerous. They said there was no probable cause. But you know who did visit that quarry all the time? The Miller boys and Griffin. Swimming, drinking, skipping school. Emma's cousin says she hated that place. Said it gave her the creeps. But now, that same quarry's the hot spot all over Reddit. A local drone hobbyist flew a rig over the quarry woods 2 nights ago. In one shot, you see a pickup truck half hidden behind trees. A figure drags something, long, heavy, wrapped in plastic. You know what else you see? A shovel leaning on the truck bed. The drone pilot called it in. Cops showed up 12 hours later. Daylight, cameras, excuses. They found tire tracks, and nothing else. Kayla can't sleep. She's left town. She's staying with cousins 2 hours away. Last night, she called Brady in tears. Said she got a voicemail from a blocked number. Just breathing, slow, heavy. Then a whisper. You talk, you're next. Kayla knows she's in danger, but she swears she's not backing down. She told Brady one more thing. Emma texted her the same night she vanished, after the freezer text. One last text, deleted by the cops, but Kayla had a screenshot. They made me wear it. What did Emma mean? Who made her wear what? The bracelet? Something else? A rumor's swirling now. Maybe the bracelet isn't a threat. Maybe it's a breadcrumb. Proof that Emma was alive after the party, long enough for someone to pose her. Dress her, mock her. A new leak broke tonight. Photos from inside the Miller's basement. A local contractor snapped them last year while fixing a water line. One picture shows a hidden door behind old paneling, a crawl space. That crawl space? Big enough for a mattress. Chains on the floor. No warrant ever touched it. And now, deputies claim they see no relevance. Is Emma alive? Or is someone using her things to scare the truth back underground? Here's what we know. The bracelet didn't vanish with Emma. The boys are nervous, cleaning up, deleting, meeting at hardware stores at 2 a.m. The sheriff's department isn't searching the quarry, the woods, or the crawl space. Kayla's being stalked. Brady's being threatened. The juror who won't shut up is now the biggest threat to a cover. Up that's cracking wide open. M's mother made a promise on local radio this morning. I won't bury my daughter twice. If these boys think bleach, freezers, and secret crawl spaces can keep Emma silent, they're wrong. We're coming, and when we find what's at the bottom of that quarry, or behind that crawl space door, you'll be the first to know. Another bombshell. Brady just got an unmarked envelope at his door. Inside, a single Polaroid, dark basement, metal door, and a girl's shadow, wrists tied, bracelet glinting in the flash. Scrawled on the back, "Time's up." So ask yourself, is Emma still alive? Or is someone just making sure we stay scared enough to stop looking? They told us to shut up. They left Polaroids on doorsteps. They whispered, "Time's up." But time's funny. When you got nothing left to lose, you find more time. Time to dig. Time to open locked doors. Time to find what they swore would stay buried. Brady didn't keep the Polaroid to himself. He dropped it to 3 local channels. By breakfast, the image was everywhere. News blogs, Reddit threads, conspiracy pages. Most think it's Emma. A few say it's a fake, a sick prank. But one detail kills the fake theory. The bracelet. Emma's mom zoomed in, the frayed knot, the chipped sunflower bead. The same bracelet she tied. The same bracelet no one ever found, until someone wanted us to see it. Within hours, the sheriff's department called a press conference. There is no credible evidence Emma Barnes is alive. No questions, no follow-up, just a statement read by a tired deputy, flanked by Chase Miller's uncle. Deputy Miller himself. Guess who wasn't there? Landon, Chase, Griffin. Funny how the kids who knew nothing keep hiding when things heat up. Brady and Kayla didn't wait for search warrants that would never come. Late last night, phone cameras rolling, they went back to the Miller's basement. Ripped off the old paneling. Broke the hidden latch. Inside the crawl space, a stained mattress. Rust rings on the concrete floor, where chains once pinned to bolts. Empty liquor bottles, and a single scrap of notebook paper stuffed into a crack behind the wall. Brady read it on his live stream. One line, barely legible. "Quarry by the hollow tree. No name, no date. Just that." But that was enough. At sunrise, a group of locals, no cops, no press, hiked to the abandoned limestone quarry. At first, just the flooded pit. Rusty fence, old beer cans, broken beer bottles. Then one girl, 15, flashlight in hand, had found it. A hollow oak right at the quarry's edge. Inside the trunk, rope fibers, duct tape, a piece of Emma's torn hair scrunchie. And beneath the hollow, fresh earth. Someone dug there, or not long ago. They dug for 3 hours, shovels, bare hands, mud up to their knees. Then, plastic sheeting. Inside, bones? No, not a body. Not this time. A bag. Inside the bag, Emma's cracked phone, her student ID, and a battered camcorder, ancient, scratched, dead battery. Kayla took it straight to Brady. They charged it, popped the SD card into a laptop. Hours of party footage, dumb kids shotgunning beers, laughing in the basement. But near the end, a single clip that froze them cold. Emma, in the basement crawl space, sitting on the mattress, tear-streaked, mumbling to someone off camera. "You don't have to do this." The clip ends when a figure steps forward, just a shoulder and arm in frame. But the voice is clear as daylight. Shut up, you know why. It's not Chase's voice, not Landon's, not Griffin's. It's older, rougher, someone else entirely. Brady posted the audio side by side with an old radio interview, local sheriff back when the Miller boys were kids. Voice match 90%. What does that mean? The sheriff's been gone for years, retired, still pulling strings behind the badge. And now he's the ghost voice behind that crawl space door. Kayla's cousin says Emma knew something about the old sheriff's backdoor deals, under the table land sales, hush money, hush threats. Emma's dad once worked for the sheriff's company, left town under a cloud of bad debts. Emma asked too many questions, so they silenced her, or thought they did. Tonight, as we drop this story, Brady's phone rang again, a block number, same whisper. "Drop it or she's next." No name, no proof, just fear. The same fear they've tried to wrap around this town for 20 years. But guess what? Fear's a bad leash when everyone's finally awake. So here's what you need to know. The crawl space is real. The quarry bag is real. The camcorder is real. The old sheriff? He never really left. Emma's story isn't buried, it's stored. Locked in secrets they can't bleach or burn away. Another bombshell. That final camcorder clip? The timestamp reads 3 days after Emma was declared missing. So ask yourself, if Emma was alive 3 days later, where is she now? Or worse, who's still keeping her alive? They told Emma's mother she was gone that first night. They buried the search under fake tips, lost warrants, missing tapes. They let the boys laugh at bonfires while her mother searched the woods alone. But one old camcorder cracked their lie open 3 days too late. So the question now isn't if Emma was alive. It's where she went, and who needed her to disappear again. The last camcorder clip, Emma in that basement crawl space, has a timestamp. April 4th, 3:17 a.m. Official report says Emma vanished April 1st. So the missing girl was never gone. Not yet. She was moved. Brady Collins had an audio forensics team run that final line. The rough older voice. Shut up, you know why. The match? 92% for the old sheriff, the man, who built the Miller family's quiet little empire. But here's where it gets worse. Another faint echo overlaps. A second voice, lower, muffled. When boosted, it's clear. A single word, Barnes. Emma's last name. So he knew exactly who she was and why she had to vanish. Kayla's cousin dropped a bombshell last night on live stream. The Miller boys bragged for years that the old sheriff kept a second house, a hunting shack deep off the county line. No address, no utilities, just a back road, a locked gate, and a well out back for cleaning game. That shack never showed up in any search. No warrant, no canine sweep. Why? Because the sheriff retired before the first tip line ever rang. A local hunter tipped off Brady after seeing the camcorder clip. Said he found fresh tire tracks out near that shack a week after Emma vanished. He reported it. The deputy laughed him off. Said the tracks were probably kids dumping trash, but now we know better. Last night, a group of locals, led by Brady, Kayla's cousin, 2 ex-volunteers from the firehouse, cut the chain on the old hunting shack gate. Inside, the smell hit first. Not decay? Chemicals? Bleach again. They found a stained twin mattress, broken zip ties, empty water bottles, a single Polaroid wedged under the floorboard. Emma, same bracelet, eyes swollen shut, alive. In the corner of that shack, duct taped to the back of a cabinet door, was a folded paper. A handwritten list, 4 names, 1 crossed out, Emma's name at the top. Below hers, Kayla's, Brady's, and the last line, scrawled in a different pen, barely legible. Collins! What does that mean? A hit list? A blackmail roster? Or a roadmap for who else might vanish next? Brady thinks this was never about a drunk party gone wrong. This is bigger, an old network built to silence certain people. Scare witnesses, bury secrets. Emma was the mistake they couldn't scrub fast enough. Kayla talks too much. Brady wouldn't shut up. And now the list says someone's still ticking off names. A retired county worker named Vince came forward tonight. He remembers Emma's dad, remembers him owing the sheriff. Says the old man was mixed up in hush money and hush land, illegal dumping, stolen soil deals, real dirt, real bribes, real ruin if the truth leaked. Emma found something, maybe a file, a tape. Something so dangerous it got her locked in a crawl space, dumped in a shack, left on an old camcorder with just enough breadcrumbs to keep us digging. Here's the new gut punch. No blood in the shack. No sign of a struggle. After that Polaroid, nothing. Either they moved her again, or she escaped. But if she escaped, why hasn't she called Kayla? Her mother? Anyone? Kayla's cousin found a new clue buried in Emma's. Old TikTok drafts, one never posted. Emma, sitting in her bedroom, whispering to camera, "If they find this, tell Mom I knew about the land." She holds up an old folder. A black leather file stamped condemned in red. The clip cuts off, corrupted, never saved to her phone backup. What was in that folder? Who else knew? And who's still hunting for it now? Tonight, the sheriff's old house stands dark. Gates chained, blinds drawn. Landon, Chase, Griffin, all off social media. Brady's car was keyed this morning, 4 deep slashes front to back. Kayla's phone rings every hour, blocked numbers, breathing, then silence. One chilling twist. On her mother's porch this morning, a package, no return address. Inside, a cracked sunflower bracelet, a single muddy shoe, Emma's size, and a note. Stop digging or dig two graves. So now we ask, did Emma leave this as a clue? Or did the ones who still have her send a message we can't ignore? If you believe in uncovering the truth and standing for justice, we'd love your support. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Your voice matters, and you help make this community stronger. We'll be back with another case right here on Unraveled Crime.